The girl accidentally dropped a potato while moving things. This potato would completely change the beggar's fate. The beggar picked up the potato and reminded the girl she had dropped something. Seeing the beggar's kind nature despite her ragged clothes, the girl took her in and gave her a job in the kitchen of her restaurant. Unexpectedly, the beggar's skillful slicing of meat was perfectly consistent in length. The chefs marveled, saying even the master chef couldn't match her knife skills. It turned out the young man was a 3-time champion of a cooking competition, but his apprentice, wanting to become the top chef, poisoned his tea. Although the young man didn't die from the poison, he lost his memory and became a beggar. The girl, seeing the young man's good character and no place to go, took him in and gave him a job as an assistant to the master chef. Seeing how close they were, the master chef became jealous. He intentionally made things difficult for the young man, asking him to slice the meat. Each slice had to be 1 inch long and 3 millimeters wide, to preserve the perfect texture of the meat. Before the master chef even finished speaking, the young man had already prepared the meat and placed it in front of him. The meat slices were perfect, with no deviation. Everyone praised the young man's knife skills, saying they surpassed the master chef's. The master chef took the meat, showing disdain, and claiming it was just passable. To get rid of the young man and marry the girl, the master chef asked him to beat an egg. Not only should the egg be beaten evenly, but quickly as well, so that the egg white and yolk completely blend together, and a chopstick can stand upright on top of the egg. To everyone's surprise, the young man achieved the master's requirement with ease. The others thought the young man was qualified to be the assistant chef, but the master chef, wanting to get rid of him, thought of another challenge. This time, he asked the young man to coat the pork tenderloin in batter, with the sauce no thicker than 1 millimeter. If even a drop of sauce spilled, the young man would have to leave. The young man first dipped the pork in the batter, then used his internal energy to evenly coat it. With one hand, he slapped the chopping board, and all the battered pork pieces were perfectly arranged on the plate. There wasn't a single drop of sauce on his hands. Everyone was amazed, guessing the young man was using Qigong techniques. The master chef, feeling defeated, refused to acknowledge the young man's skill, but the young man had already completed all his tasks. The master chef had no choice but to let him stay in the kitchen as an assistant. Later, the master chef made a plate of sweet and sour pork and asked the young man to serve it to President Wang. The young man immediately noticed a problem with the dish. He said the sauce was too thick, which would affect the crispness. President Wang would likely not be satisfied with it. The master chef, enraged, insisted the young man had no right to critique his dish. At that moment, the girl hurried into the kitchen, saying President Wang was waiting to taste the dish, and took it out. The restaurant owner, originally hoping this dish would earn a 5-star rating, was shocked when President Wang spat it out, calling it subpar. The owner didn't believe it and tried the dish himself, and indeed, the taste was lacking. He asked the girl to tell the kitchen to make a new signature dish, but the master chef, being the most skilled cook at the restaurant, claimed that sweet and sour pork was his specialty. The other chefs were doubtful they could make a dish that would satisfy President Wang. At that moment, the young man silently started to cut the ingredients. The master chef tried to stop him, saying even if they made a new dish, it wouldn't be his job to do it. However, seeing the young man's knife skills, the girl was impressed. She decided to let him make the dish and placed the future of the restaurant in his hands. The young man took a chicken and began preparing it. Meanwhile, the owner was trying to calm President Wang's frustration. Suddenly, the rival restaurant owner arrived with 3 chefs to provoke